sing along if you feel like your tail is chasing you. Because I'm the bee. Howl along if you want.
Now, when you welcome a dog or a new puppy into your life, they bring lots of joy. But it can also be a very steep learning curve and a little bit of drama thrown in there as well. But fear not, we have our dog behaviouralist, Nanci Creedon, with us with beautiful Bruce. Tell us about Bruce, Nanci.
He's just ridiculously cute. He's only just 5 months. He's a German Shepherd Rottweiler mix, and he's gigantic.
He is huge.
He's so big.
He's only 5 months old.
Just 5 months. So, I mean, by the time he finishes growing, he'll be a donkey, I think.
Come here. When we bring a new pet into our home, a new puppy into our home, there's fierce excitement both for us and the puppy. We need to manage that a bit.
It's chaotic, yeah. Everyone thinks, oh, yay, a puppy. I'd never get a puppy again. It's a lot of work, a lot of training, and a lot of stuff that people don't think about.
Yeah. A very common problem.
The bane of my existence.
So how do we get rid of it?
This is why I have my gloves here today. Cheap and cheerful.
Yeah.
Rubber gloves are amazing for getting dog hair off fabrics, off your stairs, off your car, and off your dog.
Yeah.
The static electricity that it causes once you start kind of rubbing it just gets the hair right up. And like this, in cars, it is amazing.
Stop.
I think everyone that does car valeting uses rubber gloves for this, and it's just like the best thing in the world. And like,
I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know what I'm witnessing here now.
Witchcraft. But on stairs as well, it's so much easier than getting the Hoover out. So this is what we do. And if you've got a smooth-coated dog, again, rubbing your dog with this is enjoyable for the dog, and the amount of hair you get off is crazy too. So isn't that amazing?
Do you know, it's a good one actually. If you kind of rub the dog, you won't even make it onto the carpet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to guarantee that. There's a lot of dog hair in most dogs. But yeah, no, this is what I go to all the time. And like,
I'd watch this for therapy.
I know. And it's like, I don't use rubber gloves for cleaning any dishes, but keep it on standby dog hair.
Nanci Creedon, thank you very much.
Chirag and I are animal behaviour experts on a mission to save homes that are being torn apart by cats and dogs at war. I'm looking at a dog with a very serious behaviour problem that needs a lot of help. She's got everything she needs. She's got all the love in the world. She's the most amazing home. But if we can't fix this, none of that matters.
I could cry.
She's grown up doing this, so they almost think that it's normal. I don't.
I suppose we've probably just been a bit in denial about it, haven't we?
I think we might have been. I feel really guilty.
Yeah, I think we feel really guilty that we've just been so blind.
It's clear Sally and Dan are caring pet owners, but revealing hard truths about animals you love is understandably emotional.
Because I've worked with dogs like this, it's feeling their pain, but that's what I want. I want you to feel it.
Yeah.
Because if you feel it, you'll step in more.
And I love her.
I know you do.
And what we have to remember is you're not bad people.
No.
You've been doing what you can with the best information that you have.
Today is the start of everything getting better.
Yeah, thank you.
We really are so glad you're here.
Now, this subject that's got a lot of you talking this morning. Nearly 9,000 people a year are admitted to hospital with severe dog bites in England. Last year alone, 10 people died following a dog attack, which is the highest on record.
Yeah. Joining us now, dog behaviourist Nanci Creedon. Now, Nanci has a degree in zoology and a master's in animal behaviour and welfare, and says, put yourself on a responsibility course before you buy a dog.
I mean, it's an interesting thing, Nancy, isn't it? Because you could look at Beverly, and Beverly looks delightful, friendly, wouldn't cause any issues. But there are dogs out there that aren't quite as well behaved as Beverly, and could do with some sort of guidance. Certainly, the owners could do with some sort of guidance on how to keep the dogs like Beverly.
I guess what we need to remember is every time a dog bites, it's usually the first time that dog's bitten. So just because we're looking at our dogs in our homes and saying, my dog's an angel, but it wouldn't melt, until something goes wrong. And the reason I'm proposing a mandatory education is to see the triggers. There'll always be triggers. I'm sure Beverly doesn't enjoy getting groomed if she's got tangles in her hair. I'm sure if a little child went to do the same thing at the same time, that may upset Beverly. There's always situations that every dog will bite in. All I want to do is educate people on how to predict these situations to minimise dog bites.
Nanci, I just wonder, what, for someone who wants to own a dog, or perhaps for someone who took on a dog in lockdown, what are the top things you think that currently dog owners don't understand that you would train them in?
My number one go-to always with educating dog owners is what you need to understand is when your dog becomes hyper, what happens is their body changes from the parasympathetic nervous system state to the sympathetic nervous system state. What happens then is the dog is going into panic mode, into fight or flight mode, even if they're having fun and they're hyper. When your dog is in that hyper state, every dog becomes dangerous. Their threat interpretation is reduced, their motor control is inhibited, and they're not going to think rationally. They're going to behave quite instinctually. So my go-to at all times is hyper dogs need to be interrupted and calmed back down, especially around children.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you, Beverly. And Nancy, your advice is so important.
It is, it's really important.
Yeah, and while many people might not agree with actual mandatory training, just simply that, you know, understand your dog's behaviour and what to do about it. Such an important
Thank you both. And very well behaved, Beverly. The best behaved guest we've had on the show today.
Yeah.
So thank you very much to the Chairman for the opportunity to speak on the topic of dangerous dogs, and also to express my gratitude for the opportunity to offer some assistance on the topic, because it is a topic, of course, that I'm extremely passionate about. In 2017, my research on dog bites in Ireland was published in the Irish Veterinary Journal. This research compared the characteristics of dog bites from legislated and non-legislated dog breeds to determine what differences there are in the characteristics of the bites between the two groups.
So I suppose it'd be fair, from your point of view, there's no such thing as a bad dog, it's bad owners, really.
No, I'd really disagree with that statement from two fronts. One, yes, sometimes there is something genetically wrong with that dog. There's something off. Their serotonin production is skewed, or the dog may have a brain tumour and behaving differently. So sometimes there are dogs that carry out bad behaviours, and by bad I mean unwanted and undesired behaviours, because there's something going wrong with that dog. So there will quite often be dogs with genetic disorders or medical disorders that do lead to an increase in aggression. And then the idea of saying that there's no such thing as bad dogs, there's only bad dog owners, is again incorrect, because I see so many responsible, loving, educated dog owners who ended up with a dog that, whether it came from a bad puppy farm, or whether it's got medical issues, or whether something spooked it at 12 weeks old and it's stuck with that dog for life, they're struggling with their dog carrying out behaviours that they don't want, not because they're bad owners, but because they found themselves in a situation where something has happened and that dog needs help and they don't have the ability to help that dog. So there's bad people out there, we know that, and there are dogs that for whatever reason something's off with that dog, but where do we report that to? Because the dog wardens aren't educated to a level to assess these dogs.
Like alone